turn me around, keep on walking.
This picture is essentially for Americans, people who call themselves Americans. It's about those in the South today who are trying to make democracy live. It begins with the painful and heartfelt assumption that we are not an island of perfection, but in fact a land of imperfection in an imperfect world. Negroes are trying to register, to vote, and help to change the situation that they're existing under today, help to bring about democracy in our land today.
Turn me around, they gonna let it go, burn it. Turn me around.
The young people working with the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, or SNCC as we call it, are characterized by restless energy, radical change in race relations in the United States. Their world is upset, and they feel that if they are ever going to get it straight, they must upset it more.
I'm in the movement in the South is because I think that things have gotten to the point where people have to do things for themselves. They've got to stop depending on the federal government or the state governments or even their local governments to secure their rights for them. They've got to act to win the rights that the Constitution guarantees them. People must make up their minds that if they want to be free and if they want others to be free, then they've got to do something. Something beyond just giving money or just casting a vote or just wishing others well, but they've got to put their bodies in the movement, as we say. They've got to get out on the front lines, and they've got to do something for themselves and for other people.
I, as a young Negro of Mississippi, feel that feels not wanted because due to the fact the white people of the South, they don't seem to understand the younger generation of Negroes. We won't put up with the present situation. It makes any Negro who is sensible kind of angry when he hears any person ask a Negro, why do you want to do this, do that? Why you want to vote? Why you want to go to the University of Mississippi? Well, I think that the Negro should be able to choose his own institution as the white youth when he finishes high school.
I've been interested in the movement ever since we were sitting in the library in the 9th grade, and I wanted to follow people like Roy Wilkins and the Birmingham March. I even can remember when Emmett Till was killed, my folks didn't think I could read for understanding. My grandmother had a relative to pass away in Chicago. We hadn't heard a whole lot about Emmett Till. So she went away and she came back with newspapers. I got the newspapers and went behind the sofa. And I got back and I was reading it. It really disgusted me. And this is where I said, well, when I grow up, I'm going to learn something so that I can help my people. I'm Wanda Piggies. I grew up in Holly Springs, Mississippi. I was born here in Holly Springs, and this is where I grew up. I got involved in the Civil Rights Movement because by that time, Holly Springs seemed to have been the hub. The Freedom Riders were coming this way, and they opened a Freedom School during the summer, and it was kind of nice to, my parents agreed for me to go to Freedom School because we got a chance to read all day, and I learned to play the guitar and mix with some of the other students that were really nice. Well, we did a play called The Life and Death of Medgar Evers. We read the story of his death, we talked about it, and about 18 students traveled to New York, and the play was televised. The young man that had gone to University of Mississippi started to march, and he got shot out there someplace, and everybody said, well, we're going to join the march and follow him, since he might not be able to do it. So this was started from like South Haven, a little further back down, and going to Jackson. So that was a group of us that had come from Rust. They left a group of us to stay in the Lorraine Hotel, and we stayed there at night But we went further in the daytime to find churches and people that would hang places to put tents so that we could stay under the tent at night and people would bring food to us in the evening. We did that. I didn't march that much because I was with the group that did that. But that Sunday morning, we got close to Jackson, got close to the Capitol building. That was when I marched quite a bit. The Deacons for Defense was down the road. On the way we felt comfortable around the Deacons for Defense. I'll have to say there was some healthy-looking men standing there with guns in their hand. And we felt really good about that because people along the road were yelling from their houses at us and throwing things at us, but they were afraid of those people. And at Sunday morning, we were marching, we stood there. I remember Fannie Lou Hamer standing on the steps of the courthouse and praying, and there were men standing with guns in their hand all around us, and I was a scared little girl that day. But and then pretty soon they told us if we didn't leave, then we would be jailed, and they threw us up in the paddy wagon. I can remember Stokely Carmichael standing behind me telling us to keep going, go on and get on the paddy wagon. We stayed in the cow barn, and Dr. Martin Luther King was across in the other side. I remember him writing a note to me, and Roy DeBerry. There was the two of us from Holly Springs. They were probably 16 and 17, telling us that it was going to be okay. I don't think I went to sleep at all. I saw some things in jail that was not becoming to us as a race, and I was lying there pretending I was asleep. I saw it all because the police had stood up over us with their guns, and I was afraid if I had, let them know that I was awake, then they would start creating a problem with me. And I knew very well when we were in jail, we walked out every morning to eat biscuits, syrup, and milk. And they told me it was milk and magnesia in the milk. And I didn't eat that. I didn't drink that because I didn't like milk anyway. But I wasn't eating the biscuits either. So I got about the third day, I was asked everybody did they have extra biscuits. I was real hungry. Knowing my folk, they must have been really upset while I was gone. They saw a lot of it on TV. And I was so afraid they were going to be mad because I was supposed to be going to New York to work that Monday. But I guess they felt pleased. Marching was the thing to do because it called attention to what was going on in Mississippi. That's the only way that people knew, what was going on. I could understand why marching and going to jail was the big thing. But this started all in while we were in Jackson at that march. Stokely Carmichael held up his hand over there and said, "Black Power." He and Dr. King had some words. He was telling him, we don't have the guns, we can't do this. And Stokely Carmichael, that was where they sort of had apart from each other. Well, I thought what King was saying, he was correct. But at the same time, human nature just tells me if you hit me, and after you've been turned, the head has been turned, all the cheeks been turned, what do you do? So I was confused about that, even though Dr. King was correct, that we just didn't have enough ammunition to fight with. And it did make a difference. We have not overcome, but we have come a long way from where we were. So education is possibly our best way. This is what I thought at some point. And I went to work in education. I'm kind of proud of I tried. It makes me know that I did do something to try. I think everybody need to, try and make life better.
Turn me round, ain't gonna let Louis Johnson turn me round. Keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up the freedom lane. Turn me around, keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up the freedom lane. Ain't gonna let Louis Johnson Junction. Turn me round, my Lord, turn me round, my Lord, turn me round. Ain't gonna let go in Junction. Turn me round, keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land.